Ladies and gentlemen, hear me and hear me well. If you think poverty is just the absence of money, you are deceived. Poverty is not first a financial condition. It is a spirit. It is an atmosphere, a mindset, a demonic system designed to keep men, families, and generations under perpetual captivity. Poverty is a spirit, not just the absence of money, and understanding this is the beginning of freedom. Many people define poverty only as not having enough resources, but the truth runs deeper. Poverty is a force, an atmosphere that manipulates thought patterns, decisions, and outcomes. When poverty is present, a person can work tirelessly and yet see little to no reward. It is not simply about empty pockets, but about an invisible chain that binds the destiny of individuals, families, and even nations. The spirit of poverty operates by blinding people from seeing opportunities around them. It convinces the mind that struggle is normal and scarcity is permanent. This is why two people can live in the same environment, have access to the same resources, but one prospers while the other remains trapped. The difference is not always effort, but the spiritual condition behind their lives. Poverty as a spirit feeds on ignorance, fear, and limitations, making its victims accept that they can never rise beyond a certain level. When poverty takes root, it does not just keep people financially poor, it robs them of dignity, influence, and vision. It keeps generations in cycles where children inherit the struggles of their parents. This is why you can find entire communities or families bound by the same limitations, despite having intelligent and hardworking individuals among them. Poverty as a condition might be solved temporarily with financial aid, but poverty as a spirit requires deliverance and transformation. Until the spiritual stronghold is broken, even sudden wealth can vanish, leaving people where they started. This spirit works subtly by shaping mindsets. It whispers thoughts like, I cannot, I will never make it, or people like me don't succeed. It keeps people satisfied with survival rather than pursuit of abundance. That is why many who are under its grip think small, dream small, and expect little. Even when opportunities come, they sabotage themselves because the spirit of poverty convinces them they are unworthy of more. The reality of poverty as a spirit also explains why some nations, though rich in natural resources, remain underdeveloped. It is not just about policies or leadership. There is often a spiritual atmosphere of lack hovering over the land. Until that atmosphere is broken, no amount of aid or external investment can permanently lift the people. Prosperity is not only a matter of economics, but of breaking spiritual barriers that limit productivity and progress. Recognizing poverty as a spirit shifts the battle to the right battlefield. It shows that the solution is not merely acquiring money, but addressing the invisible system that hinders growth. It demands a combination of spiritual warfare, renewing the mind with truth, and applying principles that invite abundance. Once the spirit of poverty is exposed and broken, a person is free to rise, create, multiply, and enjoy the fruits of their labor without fear of endless setbacks. Mindset renewal is the first step, because true transformation begins in the mind before it reflects in external results. Every action a person takes is birthed from a thought, and every destiny is shaped by patterns of belief. If the mind is trapped in wrong ideas, limitations, and fear, life will reflect those boundaries no matter the opportunities available. A renewed mind, on the other hand, unlocks possibilities, builds confidence, and attracts progress. The mind is like fertile soil. Whatever seed is sown there grows into a harvest. When negative seeds of impossibility, scarcity, and defeat dominate the mind, they create a reality of struggle. But when the mind is fed with seeds of faith, abundance, and possibility, it begins to produce success outwardly. This is why the most powerful prison is not made of iron bars, but of limiting beliefs within. A person can have resources, talent, and opportunities, yet remain stagnant if their mindset is not renewed. Many people are defeated long before they attempt anything, because their minds whisper lies of inadequacy. They convince themselves that they cannot rise above their family background, cannot build wealth, cannot lead, and cannot succeed. These thoughts form mental walls that are stronger than physical barriers. Mindset renewal tears down those walls and replaces them with truths that empower. It is the process of unlearning toxic patterns and embracing divine perspectives about life, purpose, and destiny. When the mind is renewed, scarcity is no longer seen as permanent, but as a challenge that can be solved. Problems stop appearing as mountains and start looking like opportunities for growth. Renewed thinkers approach setbacks differently. Instead of surrendering, they search for solutions. They stop blaming circumstances and begin to take responsibility for change. Their creativity is unlocked because their minds are no longer chained by fear or defeat. This is why too, people can be given the same opportunity, yet one thrives while the other fails. The difference is not chance but mindset. A renewed mind says, I can learn, I can adapt, I can create, I can prosper. Such a person sees doors where others see walls, and possibilities where others see impossibilities. Renewed thinking produces boldness, and boldness attracts favor and breakthrough. Mindset renewal is also about alignment with truth. If someone believes they are destined to struggle, they unconsciously make decisions that fulfill that belief. But when they embrace the truth that they are created for abundance and purpose, their choices, habits, and actions align with that reality. Over time, life begins to mirror the convictions of the heart. This is why success is sustained not by luck, but by consistent thought patterns shaped by a renewed mind. The first step to any lasting change is therefore not money, connections, or resources, but the transformation of the inner world. Once the mind is free, the person is free. Once the mind is lifted, the destiny is lifted. A renewed mindset creates the foundation upon which every other key to success and prosperity can stand securely. Covenant principles break poverty because they are divine laws that govern abundance and prosperity. Poverty is not only an economic issue, but also a spiritual condition, and it takes more than human effort to break free from its grip. Covenant principles are timeless instructions given by God that, when applied, create supernatural results. These principles transcend culture, location, or background, and they operate consistently for anyone who aligns with them. One of the foundational covenant principles is giving. Generosity opens doors that hard work alone cannot unlock. Giving to God, giving to the needy, and giving to support His work are not mere acts of kindness, but spiritual transactions that release blessings. The measure with which a person gives often determines the measure with which they receive. It is impossible to live with a clenched fist and expect to receive abundance. When hands are open to give, they are also open to receive. Another covenant principle is tithing. Returning a portion of one's income to God is a declaration that He is the source of provision. Tithing is not about loss, but about inviting divine partnership. It places a person under divine insurance, rebuking devourers that silently consume resources. Many who ignore this principle work hard yet see little fruit, because unseen forces consume what should have multiplied. Obedience to tithing secures protection over finances and opens channels of increase. Sowing and reaping is another principle that governs prosperity. Every seed reproduces after its kind, and financial seeds are no different. When a person sows seeds of kindness, service, and resources, they position themselves for a harvest that will return in multiplied form. The earth is programmed to respond to seeds, and the realm of the spirit is no different. Those who sow consistently, even in difficult seasons, eventually step into abundance, because their harvest must come. Covenant principles also demand faithfulness and stewardship. Poverty often lingers where there is carelessness in handling resources. Being faithful with little positions a person to be trusted with more. Managing finances with wisdom, planning diligently, and avoiding waste are covenant practices that honor God. When resources are managed according to his wisdom, multiplication follows. Obedience is the foundation of all covenant principles. Selective obedience brings partial results, but complete obedience brings overflowing abundance. These principles are not human inventions. They are spiritual laws set in motion by God. Just as gravity works whether understood or not, covenant principles work when obeyed, whether the person fully understands them or not. Poverty breaks when these principles are embraced consistently. Wealth that comes without covenant backing can disappear overnight, but wealth built on covenant principles is preserved by God himself. These laws position people to rise above the limitations of their environment and circumstances. They ensure that no matter the economy, resources flow because heaven's system is never bankrupt. Covenant principles create a hedge against the spirit of poverty, guaranteeing that those who walk in them will always find provision and abundance, even in seasons of scarcity. Your words shape your reality, because every spoken word carries creative power. Life and death are released through the tongue, and what a person continually declares begins to form the atmosphere around them. Words are not empty sounds. They are seeds planted in the unseen realm that eventually produce visible fruits. The world itself was framed by words, and human destinies are equally shaped by what is consistently spoken. When a person repeatedly says, "I am broke," "I cannot succeed," or "nothing ever works for me," those words align their environment with failure and lack. Negative speech empowers the spirit of poverty, closing doors and reinforcing cycles of defeat. On the other hand, words of faith and abundance invite divine possibilities. Saying, "I am blessed," "my hands are fruitful," or "doors are opening for me," releases energy that calls opportunities into existence. The tongue becomes a steering wheel, directing life toward prosperity or poverty, depending on how it is used. The reality shaped by words is not immediate but progressive. Just as seeds take time to grow, declarations shape the subconscious mind and the spiritual atmosphere until results manifest. This is why disciplined speech is vital. A person may not see change instantly, but consistent words of truth eventually rewrite experiences. Speaking correctly is not about denial of circumstances, but about refusing to empower them with destructive language. By choosing the right words, one aligns with higher truths rather than temporary setbacks. Your words also influence how others perceive and respond to you. A man or woman who speaks with confidence and expectation of success attracts respect, partnerships, and opportunities. Conversely, someone who constantly complains or speaks defeat pushes people and opportunities away. Words frame reputation and create open doors, making them one of the greatest tools for advancement. Another dimension is that words affect the mind and emotions of the speaker. Constant negative confessions drain hope and kill creativity, while positive affirmations strengthen courage and build resilience. By speaking faith-filled words, a person reprograms their mind to think abundantly and act boldly. This inner transformation eventually translates into outward success. The discipline of declaring the right words daily conditions both the spirit and the soul to reject poverty and embrace prosperity. In the spiritual realm, words act like decrees. Angels respond to words aligned with God's promises, while negative words give the enemy legal ground to enforce poverty and limitation. Speaking abundance is therefore not wishful thinking, but spiritual legislation. Every declaration is a command shaping unseen realities that later materialize in the natural. This is why battles over destiny are often battles of confession. Whoever controls the words of a person often controls the future of that person. Guarding speech becomes non-negotiable for anyone seeking prosperity. Refusing to joke carelessly about poverty, failure, or death is a deliberate act of wisdom. Choosing words of life, blessing, and increase builds an environment that attracts growth and opportunity. Over time, the spoken reality becomes the lived reality, proving that the tongue indeed carries the power to shape destiny. Diligence and discipline are non-negotiable because success and prosperity are never accidental. No matter how much revelation or opportunity a person receives, without consistent hard work and self-control, growth cannot be sustained. Diligence means paying attention to details, working with excellence, and refusing laziness. Discipline means creating boundaries, managing time, and resisting distractions that waste energy. Together, they form the backbone of productivity and advancement. A diligent person treats every task, whether big or small, with seriousness. They understand that greatness is built from small acts of consistency. Opportunities often disguise themselves as work, and only those who are diligent can recognize and maximize them. Someone may have extraordinary talent, but if they approach life casually, opportunities will slip away. Diligence distinguishes those who rise from those who remain average. It communicates responsibility, and responsibility attracts trust, favor, and promotion. Discipline ensures that energy is directed toward what truly matters. Many people fail not because they lack potential, but because they lack focus. Discipline teaches the art of saying no to distractions, no to wasteful habits, and no to shortcuts that eventually destroy. It is discipline that turns dreams into reality, because it demands action even when emotions are absent. While others procrastinate, disciplined people act. While others seek comfort, disciplined people push through discomfort until results are visible. In the battle against poverty, diligence and discipline are weapons that secure progress. Poverty thrives where laziness reigns. It feeds on excuses, procrastination, and inconsistency. A diligent person, however, keeps pushing, learning, and producing even when conditions are unfavorable. Discipline ensures that the fruits of diligence are not squandered. Without discipline, wealth can come and vanish because of poor choices, waste, and lack of control. Together, diligence creates income and opportunities, while discipline preserves and multiplies them. History and everyday life prove that even the most gifted individuals fail without diligence and discipline. Natural intelligence may open doors, but diligence keeps them open. Connections may bring opportunities, but discipline sustains them. Many talented people remain unfulfilled because they trusted talent while ignoring hard work and structure. On the other hand, ordinary individuals who practice diligence and discipline rise to greatness, outlasting those who rely on raw ability alone. Diligence and discipline are also reflections of character. They reveal responsibility, reliability, and strength of will. Employers, leaders, and partners look for these qualities because they guarantee results. People naturally invest in those who are consistent and dependable. This explains why some are constantly promoted while others remain stagnant. It is not always favoritism, but a recognition of diligence and discipline. These virtues also apply to managing resources. Discipline in spending, saving, and investing separates those who build wealth from those who consume everything they earn. Diligence in building skills, growing networks, and pursuing excellence ensures that opportunities never run dry. When combined, diligence and discipline create a cycle of productivity, preservation, and multiplication, making them indispensable in the journey to prosperity. Prosperity is your divine heritage because abundance is part of the original design of God for humanity. From the beginning, creation was filled with resources, beauty, and provision, showing that scarcity was never intended to be the destiny of mankind. Being made in the image of a limitless God means carrying within the capacity to create, multiply, and dominate the earth. Prosperity is not a privilege for a few, but an inheritance available to all who understand and walk in it. When a person becomes aware that prosperity is their heritage, they stop living as beggars and start functioning as heirs. An heir does not beg for what already belongs to them. They simply take possession of it. Many live in lack not because abundance is absent, but because they do not know it belongs to them. Ignorance of identity makes people settle for survival instead of thriving. Knowledge of divine heritage, however, awakens confidence to reject poverty and embrace abundance as a birthright. Prosperity as a heritage means more than money. It is the wholeness of life, including peace, health, influence, and fulfillment. Financial resources are a part of it, but true prosperity touches every area of existence. It empowers people to live with dignity, extend generosity, and fulfill their assignments without unnecessary limitations. Lack restricts vision, but prosperity fuels purpose. When resources are available, dreams become achievable, and potential can be fully expressed. The evidence of prosperity as heritage is found in the promises of God. All through Scripture, provision and abundance are assured to those who walk with Him. These promises are not empty words, but covenants that guarantee results. They reveal a divine pattern. Obedience, faith, and covenant practices position a person to enjoy what already belongs to them. Prosperity is not earned through human effort alone. It is accessed through alignment with divine order. This heritage also redefines how challenges are seen. Scarcity may come temporarily, but it does not change identity. Just as a prince may pass through difficult times without ceasing to be royalty, a child of God may face financial struggles without losing their inheritance of prosperity. The awareness of heritage prevents discouragement and inspires persistence until circumstances align with truth. The mindset of an heir refuses to accept poverty as permanent because inheritance cannot be stolen, only neglected. Prosperity as heritage carries responsibility. It is not given merely for personal comfort, but for impact. Resources placed in the hands of the righteous are meant to advance good, help the needy, and establish influence for transformation. When people embrace prosperity as a divine inheritance, they no longer live selfishly, but as stewards trusted with abundance for the benefit of many. To recognize prosperity as heritage is to step into freedom from fear of lack. It is to embrace the reality that abundance is not distant, but already secured. This awareness produces boldness, hope, and a renewed drive to walk in principles that manifest what is already available. Prosperity, therefore, is not an ambition but an identity, not a pursuit but a possession waiting to be unveiled.